is Crazy. Hey everyone, this is Crazy Kathy, and I'm bringing you autism news. Now, here's a story about a mom and her son, and how they got along. And move me. Yeah, there we go. How they got along and everything. But let me read you her story. Sending my son to Scotland will kill him and me. And this was actually on the 20th of 2018, and this was in Wales on BBC News. At home, Jill Grange believes her son is in the best place. People with autism can be very violent and aggressive, but parents don't say anything because they are scared they will be taken away, Jill Grange says. They don't trust the care system, and they are right not to. Faced with autistic son Matthew, 20, being sent to an accommodation in Scotland, he is now with her in Bergen. She calls for help to stop family falling apart from the strain. Here's one of the hobbies that Matthew's like. Matthew's favorite hobby is to go karting. My blood pressure shot up, and I told them, if you send him away, it will kill him, and it will kill me too. After 20 years of trying to find Matthew a suitable home, this is when I realized he had to be with me. It was the only way, because residential units are institutions based on fear of whether it will work. This would be about love. Autism can be diagnosed from 18 months, but is usually picked up between 2 or 3 years of age. A lifelong development disability that affects how people communicate and relate to others. Roughly 1 in 100 are autistic. Those on the spectrum can vary from being articulate with high IQ to nonverbal. Now, my son, when he was 4, he was nonverbal, and then he started saying words. Now he says sentences. He's 15 now, and he goes to high school. There's a program called SELPA here in Jamestown, California, that Sean's in, and they actually really help him and everything. His teacher's Miss Bonnie. She's a real good teacher. I like her. Matthew was born in Cardiff, but when he was 6 weeks old, we moved to Saudi Arabia, where I taught in an international school. He seemed fine until 8 months to 2 years, when he started limiting his food choices and had some sensory process differences, such as he never liked light touch. Yeah, Sean doesn't like light touch either. He also doesn't, and when he's sick, like right now, he's sick with 104, and he's laying down sleeping. But when he's sick, he doesn't like to be touched. When he was like 4 years old, it was only mom. Mom could only touch him. Mom could only hug him. No one else. Now he hugs his dad, or he hugs his sisters and all that stuff. It was when I had a second birthday party for him, and he wasn't interested in anyone but me, I realized something was wrong. That is true. They only pick one parent. They love both parents, but they only pick one parent. Usually it's the moms. At 3, his speech was gone. It was then I brought him home to be assessed, and a child psychiatrist said he's autistic and probably has been like it since birth. Here's a leaflet. Here's a picture of the mom and son. They look happy, and you know what? He looks like her. It's so sweet. When Matthew was young, he was homeschooled by his mother. We couldn't we homeschooled my oldest daughter, and because she's mentally challenged as well, but not as bad. She's just mildly. My son, we couldn't. We prefer, we went through psychiatrists and everything else, and that's why SELPA, which helps out autistic kids and kids with disabled. So. Teaching English, there are standard measures where you can test abilities for speaking, writing, reading, regardless of the person's native language. I thought it would be the same for autism, and they would tell me where Matthew is on the spectrum, because people can vary from very articulate with a high IQ to nonverbal, but to get a diagnosis tells you nothing about the function and how they perceive the world. You find not much is known. That was 20 years ago, and not much has changed now. Right? People don't know about autism as much as they, there's news out there about autism. There's news about how they're going to try and cure it and everything else, and how, how people with autism is being treated, but nobody really know what is autism, and it's pretty. I might do a separate video on that. At 6, Matthew was screaming all the time, and the GP wouldn't come and see him. I found a biomedical team in Hempstead, which advised giving him natural supplements because his discomfort came from his body struggling to detox things properly. You couldn't get this information on NHS. Here he is. That's pretty cool. Brave, my son wouldn't do it. Here he is on a, what's it called, a rope bridge. And I guess at the Erd camp when he was young. Matthew on a rope bridge. Wow. Matthew didn't settle in primary school, and his best placement was in a moderate learning difficulty unit. But routine is very important, and when a different person was with him every day upsetting this, I decided to homeschool him. A big thing is communication. Idioms such as "it's raining cats and dogs" and "he kicked the bucket" makes no sense, and you have to think about what you say. People with autism also practice, Matthew, for example, loves Life of Brian and would repeat phrases from it in everyday life. Like Sean, he likes Scooby-Doo. He does that. He likes Harry Potter. Lately it's Disneyland because we go to Disneyland 3 times a year. So I can relate to this. At comprehensive age, he went full-time to a special school where he was doing fine until his epilepsy started at 13. When he had a seizure, he would become aggressive, trying to grab people, and they would lock Matthew in a central courtyard. I don't know about that. I wouldn't do that. I would just put him in a room and just, make sure there's a pillow there and a blanket. Let him, make sure it's a rubber room, because if he's hitting and pulling people. That's what they did with Sean. Sean kicks holes in the wall. This extreme behavior was linked to severe overload and anxiety, but no specialists seemed to tie it all together. Miss Grange has Sorry about that. I had to take care of my son. He's shaky. He's shaky. Let's see. He also couldn't cope with going to school and then into a separate respite provision, and he trashed his room. Well, doesn't all kids trash their rooms? I think they do. Autistic kids, yeah, they trash by putting holes in the wall and all that stuff. A specialist said Matthew was hearing voices, but he was using echolalia to calm himself down. I had to Google autism, puberty, seizures to find out what was happening. At 17, he moved into a new caring setting, but when he came home on weekends, he would go berserk and have a meltdown because of the change. It went on, and I had to call the police because the social worker wouldn't do anything. He then stayed there 7 days a week for 3 years. I visit every day, but because the staff turnover was so big, care really varied, and there were times he was really unhappy. I can understand that. A placement closer to home was found, but he was incarcerated. He was incarcerated as there was nobody to take him out. Matthew wasn't always fed. He was left lying in a wet bed. It was a nightmare time. Oh man, I'd be like suing that facility immediately if they were doing that to my son. I'd be like, you know what, guys? I'd be staying there to make sure that my kid was not doing that. That my kid was in a clean area. I didn't sleep for over a year. The stress was terrible. A hobby of Matthew's is riding bikes, squad, and going kart. That's another thing. Sean, he doesn't even ride a bike, let alone throw a ball. You okay, Sean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had to find out if he was okay. Nobody understands autism. They think there's nothing going on upstairs, but those with it are incredibly bright, which I agree, they are bright, and they don't want to be sat in a care home watching people play bingo. Yeah, I agree with that. I called for Matthew to have a bespoke placement. This was when I was told the closet. Yeah, my nose. When I was told that the closest available was in Scotland or north of England. They don't realize how cruel they can be. Yeah, if you turn around and you take, like Sean, here we have a CWS. If they take Sean out, Sean's gonna be upset. Even though he's the way he is, they will upset him and that stuff. They don't like change. You have to transition them. And the thing is about transition, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. So we decided to leave Sean with us, and his worker said yeah, and they would, so basically I agree with her. That has been the wrong step. She did the right thing. Matthew was becoming more and more insular. A care home was traumatic and was doing him no favors. So I decided I could do a lot better at home. And you probably are doing a lot better. Services are stretched, and it seems like there is no capacity for autism. But it doesn't go away, and the burden and hard work falls on parents because you don't want them to spend their lives in day rooms staring at the wall. I agree. Here, if you ever come to America, you will get, at least in Jamestown, I get services for Sean's pull-ups, He's on Social Security, and he has his own social worker. So he basically has the services. SELPA does a really good job. It's a real school unit. Of course, your son's like 20 years old, so probably need it, but you should look into a lot of that stuff. And that's care workers take Matthew out to take a part in the different activities where, let's see, we are having to pick up the pieces and relationships are breaking down. Our family are giving up work and taking huge drops in wages because of the strain. Nobody says sorry, and it has left me emotionally drama, I guess. I think care package, let's see, packages, okay, I think care packages tailored around young adults living at home are the future. 6 months in, and it's working because I am determined, but also because it's based on love. Wow. You know, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. And you know, I feel for you. You know, if you want to, you know, subscribe to me and that stuff, and I have a Facebook page and all that stuff, and I'm gonna be connecting this YouTube page to the Facebook. But anyways, until then, the next video. Please comment down below what you think about this. I think she did a really good job and made the right decision in bringing him home. And I think she'll do a good job. We'll be praying for her. And so, on that note, comment down below if you haven't subscribed to Autism News by Crazy Kathy. Please subscribe. And, just starting now, I'm putting in more stories about autism and all that. And until then, see you later.